Well, the Black Ferns New Zealand women's rugby team has certainly captured the hearts of the country as they head into Saturday's much anticipated World Cup semi-final against France at Eden Park. In fact, I'm pretty sure the New Zealand rugby public and all us expat Kiwi rugby lovers over here in Aussie have pretty much fallen in love with the team. And Chelsea Semple played in the build-up matches to the World Cup and unfortunately missed final selection, but she's doing a great job with Sky TV commentating in comments now. Chelsea, thank you so much for coming on the show. What a show the ladies are putting on for the country.
Yeah, thanks for having me, John. Yeah, I love what you said there about how even some Aussies expats in Aussie have fallen in love with the team. The Black Ferns is a very unique group, and I think the more coverage and the more exposure our team gets to the world and to the media, the more people around the world are falling in love with them. It's a great team to be a part of, and yeah, like you said, I'm obviously not in the World Cup team. I've had a pretty unlucky run this year. It's been a 5-year build-up for me since the last World Cup. But yeah, I've been through the wars this year and been through a lot of ups and downs. So I'm not there with the girls, but still very much part of the group and still training hard. And yeah, looking forward to supporting the girls in the final stages of what's been an absolutely epic World Cup so far.
Yeah, it's been phenomenal. I think there's a seismic change happened in New Zealand sport for this World Cup. I mean, the girls have filled up Eden Park virtually. I'm sure they'll fill it up twice more. Never before in the history has that happened. And there's now the bulk of the team are household names.
Yeah, well, it's been amazing because I've been part of the team a long time, over 10 years now, and I've always been a big advocate for women's rugby and pushing for a bit more equality and stuff. And when I've said to people in the past that we need to play at Eden Park and we would sell it out, so many people pretty much laughed in my face or said that that's not what people want to see as women playing rugby. So for this to happen, for us to sell out Eden Park, for so many people to be tuning in as well, and for it to be making just the sports headlines every night in the 6 o'clock news is tremendous for the game. And like you said, it is changing the whole landscape of sport in New Zealand because it's given women's sport and women's rugby a voice and a platform to show the world just how good the game is. So I think this tournament is just a massive, massive turning point for women's rugby and women's sport in the country in general. So it just feels like a massive achievement, and yeah, a huge stake in the ground for our future.
Chelsea, you've been part of the team, as you say, for a long time now. There's something extra special about this side. What is it?
Yeah, there is, and I think there always has been. Everyone who comes into the environment always leaves saying that they can just feel the culture and the positive force in the environment. And I think a lot of that comes down to the fact that apart from this year's the first time we've been full-time professional, but we've always just been regular Kiwis, just going to work and home to family and training in and where we can, being full amateur sports people, but performing like we're professionals. And we've had women trailblazers doing that since the Black Ferns was first established in the early 90s. And I think that's the difference between our team and say the men's teams you watch, is that all our girls play for the absolute love of the game. It hasn't been for a career. It hasn't been to, get to the next stepping stone or be that full-time professional. Our girls play in and around other commitments, including work, for the love of the game, and you can see that on the field and you can feel that in the environment. So obviously a massive change this year with the first group of contracted women, but it's still only 30 women in the country who are contracted, and Super Rugby Opaki has another level of women playing FPC, still full-time amateur, so it still very much is for the love of the game.
You've got three coaches who are three of the greatest all-time coaches in All Black rugby history. You know, Wayne Smith, head coach, Sir Graham Henry helping, and Mike Cron, the scrum guru. What difference have they made? And is it a big thrill for the girls to have those guys on board?
Yeah, it sure is. I mean, it was only a couple months ago that I was on tour with them, and even still, you're down on the training field getting ready, getting prepped, doing your warm-ups, and you look over and then coming down the stairs is, you know, Wayne Smith, Sir Graham Henry, Mike Cron, all coming down together, and it's still a bit of a pinch yourself moment that women's rugby have these legends coming in and wanting to work with us. I mean, we needed something big to happen after the end of year tour last year, and it's been the perfect storm really, with having that caliber of coaching come into our team, as well as the full-time professional contracts and the Home World Cup all at once. So we definitely needed something like this, and those guys have been working tirelessly to get this team to where it is now, and a lot of hard decisions have had to be made, and a lot of standards have been risen even higher with them, because they accept nothing but the best. So to answer your question, it's been unreal, and just I think having the caliber of coaches as well has helped a lot of people turn towards women's rugby, because I think a lot of people would say, if Wayne Smith and Graham Henry coach this team and come out and sing their praises and say what great athletes they are, then so can I, and it's made people a lot more interested as well. So I thank them so much just for doing that for our team.
I think they thank you guys as well. I think they're having a ball by the looks of it.
Yeah, I think they are as well. The girls are so much fun to be around, and they've all said that it's a far more relaxed and kind of less serious all the time environment than it is in the All Blacks. So I think they are enjoying it.
Yeah, you've got some real characters on the side. Ruby too is my all-time favourite rugby player right now. Tell us a bit about Ruby.
I've been lucky enough to play in the New Zealand Sevens with Ruby way back in 2013, I think it was, and just to see her growth in the game from then till now. She made up her mind at the start of this year that she wanted to play in a Home World Cup, and she gave up all the Sevens tournaments completely and made the full switch to 15 so that she could learn her trade and learn the game as best she could. And it's been fantastic having her experience and her caliber in our 15s environment, because she's been professional for a whole lot longer. So our girls learn a lot of her each day. And with her, what you see is what you get. The character that comes across on the TV screens, that's exactly what she's like in real life. And she's just, she's an extremely giving, humble, kind human. And I'm really grateful to have crossed paths with her and had her play a little part of my story as well.
Yeah, I think the PA of the ladies is so far ahead of the men. I mean, all your interviews, including yourself, they're always interesting. They're not cliched, you know, and they're worth listening to, you know.
I think with the men, what we've seen with them in the professional era is because they're under scrutiny so much, they've been so well media trained that all of their answers are pretty well on the same page, whereas we haven't had the publicity or the professionalism for as long, so we're kind of just left to our own devices on how to deal with media and answer questions, which is why you see just more of us and our characters shine through, I guess.
Please leave it that way. It's way better for the game. You played against England and France last year, so you know what they were like and what you guys were like. You've come a long way. Do you think you've made enough strides to firstly tip France over on the weekend? I won't mention England yet because we haven't got there, but are you confident that the girls can do the job?
I think, honestly, all you have to look at, if you look at last year's games in that Northern Tour and this year's games side by side, you'll notice straight away just the different body shapes of the girls. We're much fitter, faster, and much better physical condition. And that's because we are full-time athletes. So we do match France and England. We haven't been full-time for as long as them, obviously, but we've had 9, 10, 11 months under our belt now. So just the ability to be able to train full time, to recover properly, to get the mental support, the nutrition support that we need has made a huge difference. And I think that's narrowed the playing field immensely. Add on top of that, the legendary coaches that we've got in our team now, and we're playing a completely different game to what we were last year, and it plays to our strengths, which is Kiwis. We've got flair, we've got that natural talent and ability, so our game style reflects that a whole lot more now. So in short, yes, I think we're there and we're ready. I think it's been a shame that we haven't been able to test ourselves against those top tier teams earlier this year to get a benchmark of where we were, because we've obviously done a full 180 since then. But I think we'll see on the weekend that the girls are up for it. It's going to be a hell of a test match, and a semi-final and World Cup's never easy either. So all we will see is a lot of heart, a lot of grit, determination, and an absolutely unique style of rugby played by our girls in this World Cup. So I'm very, very excited to see what we produce.
New Zealand versus France, there's always twists and turns, isn't there? And the big thing I'm interested in is how the forwards have improved obviously hugely since last year, but right through this tournament. I felt against Wales was probably they're getting closer to where they need to be to win the whole thing.
I think for me that's been the most positive and the best thing I've seen is how our tight five have fronted up and improved each week. It's always been said that to win this World Cup against those top tier teams, against France and England, we're going to have to front up physically, and that's probably where we were lacking at the start of this year, and even midway through this year. We had questions being asked about if our tight five were physical enough, if they were good enough in set piece. We had a little scare against Wales when our set piece wasn't going very well, but with the likes of Mike Cron and Ted and that in there fixing all of that, the girls have been doing some really hard out work, scrumming against men, doing line out mauls against men consistently. So seeing those small improvements every week and getting that game time against those Six Nations teams has been huge to prepare our girls. And I think this week, after seeing the improvement last week against Wales, we're going to be absolutely peaking, and they're going to have to be up for it. It's going to be a massive challenge for our girls. A lot of them have never played against these teams before, but the improvements I've seen have me confident that we'll be ready to take them on.
And the Eden Park factor probably won't be so intimidating as it was in the opening game against Australia. Hopefully there's another massive crowd there. I'm sure there will be.
Yeah, I hope they will be, surely. But that opening game, I mean, half our team had never played played in a stadium before. So I think we were a bit shell-shocked in that opening stanza against Aussie. But I've heard what the girls have been doing in training. Playing really loud music and crowd noises while we're training to get used to that pressure and get used to that environment. So we'll be way more prepared for this, and what better time to be prepared than a World Cup semi-final. So
yeah, it'll be fantastic. I love Kendra Coxedge's statement during the week. She said it's pretty hard for teams to do any homework on them because she said we're a bit of chaos. I love that.
Well, yeah. The game style we're playing is a little bit of chaos. We create a blur everywhere we are, but in saying that, it is so hard to do any analysis on that French women's team as well, because they're a bit the same. So it's going to be action-packed, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, Chelsea, thank you so much for coming on the show. It's lovely to talk to you, and we've all got our fingers crossed the Black Ferns can tip France over on Saturday and then meet England in the final. I think that's everyone's dream final.
Yeah, that'll be a dream come true. Thanks heaps for having me.
Cool.
Black Ferns.
Thank you. Cheers, Chelsea. Thank you.